Hey guys, what's up? I'm Slim and you're watching Slimothy TV. In this video, I've got a really cool one for you guys. We're gonna be taking a look at an app called Weather Up. Now this application can give you the current weather forecast as well as 10 days in advance. On top of this, it has a really cool widget that you can place anywhere on your home screen. And I think it is one of the best looking weather widgets that's out there. So let's go ahead, pop the app open and take a look. So here we go. We'll go ahead and click on the application. And I've already preloaded two locations here. I got Miami and Nassau. So right when you open it, you are greeted with the weather radar right here, as well as your favorite locations that you can edit at any time. Now, one thing I have to mention right off the bat is that this application does include a dark mode. So if you put your phone into dark mode, it actually looks really good here. I'm not sure which one is gonna look best on camera, but I think dark mode is the way to go. Personally, it's easier on the eyes. I'm gonna leave it in dark mode for the rest of this video with the brightness bumped a little bit up. So first things first, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit this little play button right here, and it's going to animate the radar very quickly for us. You can see the time up there, as well as the animation down below with the rain and what it's doing. Now, if I zoom out just a bit, let's go somewhere where there's a little bit more action. So we're gonna head over here to Colorado. You can see on the map, you've got your ice, your snow, and of course your rain, just like any other weather app. One thing I really like about this application though, is when you hit the play button, it plays like almost immediately. There's no lag time, there's no loading time. It's just really quick. That's one thing I noticed right away with this application compared to others. It's very snappy and there's no waiting around. So anyways, that is the weather radar portion. We'll dive a little bit more into that here in a minute, but let's go ahead and click on Miami right now, and it will zoom us right there. Now from here, we can see, first of all, a quick glimpse of the radar. And down here, we can see the hourly for the next 10 days. So I can just keep scrolling. Now that's really far out. I always take those forecasts with a grain of salt just because it's so far out, you can't really trust it. But then below this, we have the current conditions. So right now it's clear, feels like 83, winds are 15 miles an hour, humidity and cloud cover. So it gives you all the information you need at a quick glance. You don't have to do any digging. It's just right here on the main page. All you have to do is click the location you want. So if I went to Nassau, I can do the exact same thing and view that information right away. Now let's quickly go back to Miami here. And let's click on the 10-day. Now this is one of my most used features of this app or any other weather app, is just looking ahead to the next week. And of course this is 10 days, but you can go ahead and click on these to see what it's gonna be. So Tuesday the 22nd, it says drizzle, 48% chance of rain, 0.1 inches, nothing crazy, a little bit windy. And I can scroll through and see every other day up to the 29th, which is definitely nice. So you can get a quick glance of the upcoming week and plan accordingly. Now below this, there is an alerts button. The alerts button is just what it sounds like. These are the National Weather Service alerts that you might need at any given location. So if you enter your home address on here, you'll be able to see these alerts for your location. You can clearly see right now there are two alerts for Miami. One of them is a rip current statement and the other is a coastal flood advisory. And in bold up here, it tells you the effective times as well as what the actual alert is. And then below it, you get more information, just as you would from the National Weather Service. It's just in this easy to digest format, which I really like. Now, both of these are pretty similar overall, Miami and Nassau, pretty much the exact same temperature and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on add. Here you can add a new location if you like. It gives you popular ones. And then of course you can search for your own. Let's just go ahead and click on Dallas, Texas, because that is pretty far away from these other two. And it looks like it's 81 and clear there too. So pretty good weather today all across the country, but you have the exact same tabs down here. If you click this button here, it's going to collapse this. If you want to see more of the map, you can just tap it to bring it back up. And lastly, down here in the bottom right, you can click on this to share the forecast or the forecast and the map. So if I click on share here, I can go ahead and save the image or airdrop it, iMessage it, or mail it just from the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and click save image. And just like that, it's saved straight to my photos. I'll pull that up and show you guys what it looks like. Here is that screenshot. It does have this goofy little banner down here, which I don't think should be there, especially if you have the pro version, or they can make it a lot smaller. But anyways, this is what they will see. So if you wanna share this out to someone else, you can do that. Of course, you could just take a screenshot as well. So now when we are zoomed out looking at the map, we can see all the different locations that we have added here. But let's go ahead and try out something else. So right now we have the weather radar and it looks pretty good. But what if we go ahead and click on this up here? This is the layers button. And if you click on that, you can change it to whatever you'd like. So right now it's on the radar layer, but if I click on that, I can switch to clouds, which a lot of people like to see for an overview of possible storm fronts that are coming in. And there you go. You can see down here, you got a little spinny boy, little tropical storm down there. And then I think there's one over here as well. That is the clouds layer. And if I zoom all the way out, you can pretty much see the entire planet, which is really cool. A lot of other apps, when you click on the cloud layer, it's only gonna show you the US. This one shows you pretty much everything and you can easily see where that frontal boundary is. But anyways, let's go down to radar global. So this switches the input for the radar. So you're gonna get, it's a little less detailed, I would say, overall for the US, but it allows you to see rain in other places. Like obviously down here in Costa Rica, it's rainy season. It's gonna be pretty rainy down there all the time. You can see the storms that are encroaching into Brazil. And then over here in Africa, you can scroll around pretty much across the entire planet and see what's going on. Let's check out Philippines over here. There's a tropical storm that's about to develop over there. So yeah, there's just a lot that you can do here. But let's go ahead and go back to our neck of the woods. And let's go ahead and go back to the layers. Let's click on it again. I'm going to show you all these here. Temperature, we'll go to that one real quick. You can see the temperature for the US. It looks actually really good this weekend. So hope everyone's out enjoying that. And yeah, pretty cold over there in Russia. So this really helps with the temperature trends. Let's go quickly to the next one, which is going to be humidity. And if you click on this, again, you got the entire global humidity right at your fingertips. You can quickly go and check out what's going on across the planet. And let's do the next one here. We have 1 hour and 24-hour rain total. So let's go ahead and do the 1 hour first. Just take a look at it. So you can see down here in Florida, there's some rain coming down there. And then up here in the Pacific Northwest. Now this one only works in the US, as you can tell by the name of it. So you can see that little American flag. That kind of tells you where you can look at these different items. So the first one for the radar obviously is these countries only, but the global one has the globe. So you can see it pretty much everywhere. Let's go to 24-hour rain totals just to show you guys. Out here, out in the west, ton of rain. Looks like it dumped over there, and actually not quite as much in Florida as I was expecting. So these are the weather layers, super powerful stuff, and it's very easy to select through different ones. I'm gonna go back to the radar animated for the US, but from the same menu for map layers, you can actually see a warning layer. I don't think there's any warnings right now in the US, so let's go ahead and choose something else. Let's do high wind advisories. Let's see if there's any of those. Looks like there might be a couple up here in Washington State. Let's zoom in. Yep, we can see them right here. So these are the wind advisories, wind warnings, because that is the layer that I have chosen. Let's go back here, click on this again, and we can click on winter. Let's see if there's any winter. You can see up north, there are some winter advisories. Here's the snowfall one. You can see the different colors there. Of course, right here, you got the legends. Now let's go ahead. Let's click on hurricane and tropical. Now this one gives you a very quick glimpse of who's under, a hurricane watch, hurricane warning, tropical storm watch, or warning. So if you're planning to head somewhere coastal, you might want to take a look at this maybe before you go, just to make sure that there's nothing coming. Now, hurricane and tropical tracks, this one takes a minute to load up, but once it does, you can actually see where they predict the hurricanes to head. Again, very valuable if you are planning a vacation somewhere. Over here, you can see what this one's been doing and how it's going to cross land. And this one actually works globally. So here is that storm I mentioned just a minute ago for the Philippines. So yes, this is a forecasting app, weather radar app, and clearly it can help you monitor different tropical storms. So those are the different layers in here. I don't want to spend too much time on that. But another thing we can do is switch to satellite mode. So some people enjoy seeing the satellite mode a little bit better. Maybe it helps them visualize, where exactly the storms are headed. So you can do that. And if maybe this wasn't quite enough detail for you, you can go ahead and switch over to hybrid. This is going to give you city names, roads, and help you really drill down into what you're seeing, potentially help you avoid a storm. And of course, you can change the opacity at will, whatever you'd like to see. I'm going to switch this back to thunderstorms because that's how I like it. And I like it on the typical weather radar right there. So we can either go ahead and swipe to delete, or we can hit edit, rearrange them, or delete it right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I don't need Dallas on my list. But now there's one more cool thing that you can do with this. Let's just say, you're in the middle of Valdosta, Georgia, and you just want to quickly pin this location right here. You don't want to search it up. You can just tap it and hold anywhere. Now, just like that, you can either add it to the list, or if you just want to see the location's weather for the next couple of days, you can do that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and click add to list. And just like that, it is now on my list of locations. Let's head into settings here. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. We're gonna quickly talk about the subscription model. So I am not a fan of any subscription models, as you guys know. We don't push subscription model anything as much as possible on this channel. This application is a subscription-based application. However, they do have a lifetime option, which is quite expensive. It's $150 at the time of filming. So you're gonna have to weigh that, if that's worth it to you. I do have to give them a big thank you and shout out for sending us a code free for review. Now, if you want, it's $5 a month or $40 a year. So again, you have to weigh how long you think you're gonna use this versus should you buy lifetime? Should you just skip this app altogether and go for one that's not a subscription-based or not so expensive? I do think the cost for this app is pretty high compared to most other weather apps. That's just my personal opinion. I've used hundreds of different weather apps. I think the cost is a little bit high on this one. At the top here, it just says, thanks for supporting. It's got the pro. Now, app icon, you can actually change this to whatever you'd like, whatever fits your home screen better. And they have quite a few different designs here, which is pretty cool. You can also switch up the weather icons. Now, I personally was going through, I thought I would like a couple of these, but ended up just sticking with what I've got, just the default right now. For the theme, you can do light, dark, or system-based. And then units, you can customize these. So let's say you like Fahrenheit, but you want to see the wind in knots. You can switch that if you so choose. Wind direction, you got compass, which is like northeast, or you can do degrees. And then precipitation, you can do inches, centimeters, or millimeters. Now, if you click map layers, it's just going to take you to the exact same one as before. But I'm just gonna hit done there. Event forecasts, this is pretty cool as well. It's kind of like this app's secret sauce, but if you turn on show calendar events, which obviously I'm not going to do on this phone, it can give you the weather forecast for your different events. They will pop up just like this. And the best part is it says the information never actually leaves your device from your calendar. So it is privacy respecting, which is something I have to give huge props to because a lot of other weather apps are not as privacy respecting as this. The only caveat here is that all day events obviously won't be shown because they're all day. The app doesn't know when the event's actually going to be. It only works for events that have a start and end time. So keep that in mind, but this is a really cool thing that you can do. If you're someone that puts everything on your Apple calendar, you can easily sync that up here and it will let you know. Now for forecast source, you can actually change this from Apple Weather to Aeris or AccuWeather, and you can see what each one actually gives you access to. Obviously you can switch this on the fly. Go ahead and see which one's more accurate for your location. Of course, everyone's location varies and has different accuracies from different companies. Then we've got advanced settings here, which is literally just haptics. Then you got get help and acknowledgements. That's about it. Now, another thing we do have to talk about before we end this review is the widget. Like I mentioned, this has one of the best looking widgets on iPhone, I think, for weather. I think it's super clean. It gets the point across very effectively. And honestly, it just looks good. So right here, you can see clear in Miami. That's the location that I have selected. You can see there's an alert. So you can actively know if there's an alert at a location. You have the high temperature, you have the day across the top. You can see what day it's for, and then the low temperature at the bottom. You can also see the rain. So it tells you kind of what to expect throughout the day. You can see the probability of rain right there. Now I have to pull up the App Store to show you guys this, but if there was rain like in the next hour, it will tell you right there, heavy rain for the next hour or whatever, and it will have a little icon indicating how heavy and for how long. So that is super helpful. But this widget has a trick up its sleeve. You can actually interact with it. It's not just a static widget. If you see this little arrow right here, I can click on that and I can literally go to the next few days for the weather. And again, so I can go out all the way to the 29th, which is basically like when I open the app, I can see the same information right here. So I personally think that's super valuable. And now I think the absolute coolest part of this entire widget is that you can click on any of these days to drill down into that day's rain or whatever, their weather. So if I click on October 22nd, this widget dynamically changes and pulls up the weather in Miami for Tuesday, October 22nd, and I can see the rain. I can also see the high temperature when it's going to hit that temperature. And I can see all the most important points of the day, the 12 a.m., 6 a.m., 12, 6 p.m., and again, back into 12 a.m. for the next day. The graphics for this are spot on and it's just easy to look at. I can go ahead to the next day and the next day, or I can just go back to the full week. That is something that I don't think any other application can say they can do, or at least I don't know of any other interactive weather widget app quite like this. A very simple application, which is something that I really appreciate the simplicity of. Anyone can just hop in here, add your location, and take a look at the forecast right away. Just for the fun of it, I'm gonna switch these to the 16-bit characters here and let you guys see what that looks like. I think it looks pretty cool. It's a little harder to read, but it is kind of cool, especially for the Halloween time. And if you just like to switch it up. If you are in favor of the simplistic design, I think that there's not many other options on the market that are as smooth as this, as optimized as this, and have so many features cram packed into such an easily digestible format. A lot of other weather apps are overly complicated, a relatively high learning curve, or they're gathering a bunch of location data and serving you ads and junk like that. This obviously doesn't have any of that garbage. It's just straight up, very clean, simplistic, and it gets the job done. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I will have this application linked down in the description as well. If you want to pick it up for yourself, go ahead, try it out. I think it has a 7-day trial, so you guys can get a feel for it, see if it's something that you're interested in. It's one of the most minimalist but effective weather applications that we've used, so we really enjoy it. Thumbs up, subscribe, peace.